I'm mega excited to be doing this interview tonight. We're live, MMA UK. This is Katie Hunter, and I'm here with two of my favourite fighters. We are here with Will Currie and Modestas Bukowski. Boys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Absolute pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. Will, I'm still buzzing off your last fight. It was just like one of the most exciting fights that I've
My
seen.
head's still buzzing as well.
Yeah, I bet it is. I think it did take years off me. I'm not going to lie. There was a certain point I was a little bit stressed.
Me too.
How's it been watching it back?
Yeah, it's a sick fight. Probably the best fight of my career in terms of entertainment value. It was a great round. It reminds me, well, not quite, but it reminds me of Nick Diaz, Paul Daly vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a lot of carnage in one round. It was actually 3 minutes in total, but just a lot happened.
A lot did happen. I can't believe that, actually. 3 minutes. It felt a lot longer at the time.
It felt a hell of a lot longer.
You.
The longest 3 minutes of my life, Katie. I swear.
Oh, amazing. And Modestas, you were obviously there that night supporting your boy. Like, what did you think of it?
My heart definitely dropped as he got dropped.
You see his face. He's just like this. He's just like that.
I was like, all right. But I knew, obviously, Will's wrestling was very good. Obviously knew his ground game was very technical. So I knew that he'd be able to get himself out of the situations. You saw how he managed against Chris Duncan to, overturn the position and do a really good job with that. So, I knew he'd been in these pressure situations before.
Yeah.
I knew that he's been in those pressure situations in training. Although it was very scary, I knew he would pull through. And then, I knew he'd get back up to his feet, which he did. And then after that, the rest is history.
Yeah, and Will, you said something to me afterwards. I can't remember if it was in the interview or off camera, but you were saying about being so glad that you'd have moments of adversity like that before you get to the UFC, before you're on the biggest stage, and know that you've been taken into those deep waters and come out the other side.
No, I think I've had one of the hardest runs in Cage Warriors history. I think my first fight, it wasn't like Ian Gary was fighting some 5-4 Lawrence Tracy. I was fighting 12-1 Dario Belandi, 12-2 actually in terms of his amateur career. And then obviously going into the professional. So he was a European IMAF champ. Then I had Duncan on number 2. And then obviously what happened? Then we had him again, number 3.
Yeah.
And then, Zlatev, that was like my final, like a bit of a warm-up start. And then Valley, the veteran. And then from Valley, we had Naglis, and then that was the disaster camp. He's quite a good fighter, Naglis, but I know I can do a lot better in that. And then the last one, Shamu, probably the biggest puncher in the division in the country,
Yeah.
So
it's like the Deontay Wilder of Cage Warriors.
The Wilder of the middleweights, for sure. No, it's been a good journey in Cage Warriors because it's developing me for that UFC. Because when I do go eventually to the UFC, I've had a run in Cage Warriors, where I've been prepared. I've had the wars. I've been dropped, come back. I've gone to the decision. I've done it. So a lot of experience needed.
There's easily fights you could have in the UFC that would not be the level that you've already faced in Cage Warriors. And I think that's true of a few people in Cage Warriors, to be honest. Some of the fights they put on are so high level, they could easily take place in the UFC.
100%. And you can see that because of the amount of fighters that have gone on from Cage Warriors to the UFC and done really well. But only recently now, Cage Warriors is putting on fights, like high level fights, and you can see Cage Warriors doing very, very well. The likes of Modestas, myself, we're going to come through and he's going to get back into the UFC, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. And we're going to make carnage, we're here for war. We're here like pirates hunting the treasure.
I literally, I'm here for all of it, and like I'm really loving this Cage Warriors concept for New Year's Eve with like the Europeans versus USA. And Modestas, your fight is already lined up. You called for it after your last win, and they listened, and you're on the card. Like, what better way to see in the new year than with another win and getting back your belt, the belt that you never lost.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? I actually didn't realize that. I believe so. Brad, we did an interview a couple of days ago, and he actually said that Nicholas Dalby and Dan Hardy were the only ones to actually leave Cage Warriors and then come back and win the belt again. So, you know, adding myself to this lineage of, you know, former two-time, you know, Cage Warriors champion, it will be an absolute honor. And yeah, I'm very looking forward to this matchup. It'll be extremely explosive. However, I'm the better skilled fighter, and I can't wait to put on a show for everyone. Like this, what a way to end the year with a bang. Then come out here with a great performance. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Talk to me about the opponent, because we saw him recently at Cage Warriors in Manchester, where he beat Andy Clamp. He's fought on Bellator. Tell me what you think of him as an opponent.
Yeah, so obviously he has many strengths. You know, he's a very powerful puncher. I believe he's also played American football at the Division 1 level. So obviously he's extremely athletic. He's long. He's only got a reach advantage by like half an inch. You know, he's tall, a little bit taller so he's a little bit longer than me, a little bit taller than me. Extremely athletic, extremely explosive. You know, he's got good areas of his game. You know, like, you know, he hits hard, and you know, when he wants to go for the takedown, he really does go for it. He's training out of a very good camp, you know, in AKA. However, I do feel that there are many holes to his game also, and I'm looking to exploit those on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. And obviously you talk about AKA, and just Americans in general, they tend to think that their wrestling is a better standard than people this side of the pond. Are you looking forward to proving that wrong?
Oh, well, look, I'll go wherever the fight takes us. You know what I mean? I love that it's just such a massive grudge match. You know, always the Americans versus the English. You know, it's always been like a massive thing throughout history. So yeah.
I mean, I'm getting my Instagram post taken down because I'm saying Yanks. I mean, this is the situation.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the kind of the climate of the whole situation with this grudge match. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Obviously America have produced some very good fighters, some very good wrestlers, you know, overall, but you know, England's stepping up. You've got guys like, you know, Nathaniel Wood, you know, you got like Jay Herbert, you've got guys like Mark DeCasey. You know, we've got like a load of really top level, high level guys, you know, Paul Craig as well. England is now not seen as, you know,
Leon Edwards has got the belt.
Leon Edwards. Like, how could I forget that? Do you know what I mean? Exactly. We've got guys that are like at the upper echelons of the sport, and this was like never before heard of or never before seen. You know, Michael Bisping. You know, we got guys that are coming, you know, for the top guys of all these divisions, all these different weight classes. So, you know, this is just a continuation of that. You know, more guys like us coming through Cage Warriors, going out and challenge for the belts, winning the belts, and showing the Americans that, you know, we're here and we're here to take over. You know, like McGregor said with the Irish people, like, you know, we're here to do damage. We're not just here just to compete. We're here to take over and conquer everyone. So, you know, the level of MMA in the UK has gone up massively, and we're going to show that on New Year's Eve.
Even with the amateurs, you can see that in the amateur game. The amateurs are getting really good now. I know so many guys at amateur MMA who are crazy good fighters, and we're brought up hard, the Europeans. You know, we're from a land of war. You know, a lot of wars happen in Europe, and we have a hard route to the UFC. We have to fight a load of Europeans to get there.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as easy, I don't think, going from Europe to UFC than it is America to UFC. But yeah, we've got a big wave of talent coming, I believe.
100%. I agree with you there. Lee is telling us not to forget about Arnold Allen either. Obviously, Arnold Allen.
So many now, of course.
So many now that we're not going to remember all of them or name all of them. But you're so right about amateur talent in this country. Like, I love going to regional shows and local shows, and obviously that's where I first saw you, Will, and honestly, there's like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, like they are training as if they are professional, and they are just putting so much into it and really living like professional athletes, and I'm so excited about where the talent in this country is going.
Well, we're part of that wave where he's been doing it from birth.
Hell yeah.
And I've been training from like 15, 16. And before that, I was playing football religiously. I was signed to Millwall. So I've been an athlete for a long time as well. He was playing basketball, which is all about footwork. It's all the same stuff, really. It's just you translate it. It's being an athlete, which is the main thing. But yeah, good times ahead.
Oh, it's all good times ahead.
MMA UK is going to go like stop, blow up. You know what I mean? MMA UK is coming, take over. Not MMA USA, MMA UK. That's what we're dealing with.
I am loving that because it is against the USA. I feel like it's more likely that there will be a lot of Americans watching this card, and I think that's important. You've got your eyes on the UFC. You've got your eyes on getting back to the UFC. Neither of you can be very far away from that. So I just think the more exposure, the better. If you're fighting people that the guys over there know, then even better, because you're fighting tough people here that they may not have heard of. You may as well be fighting their guys and making an impact that way.
Oh yeah, and even on the fact that it's on New Year's Eve, and like most people, like towards the end of the year, they're already getting ready for all their celebrations. On New Year's, go out drinking, go out partying. But for on UFC Fight Pass for the Americans, it's probably going to be on like pretty early on in the night, whereas fast is going to be literally just before New Year's. So, I can imagine a lot of eyes are going to be watching this event, and like I say, it's very exciting to be on such a huge card, and one that I don't think has been done before. So,
speaking of which, get me on this show. This
well,
is annoying.
that's what
I love
coming
that he's got the title fight. I love that he's got his shot. I'm so happy, and I'm very happy that Chuck won, because if the other guy won, guy wouldn't fight him. But Chuck's got the balls. He's fighting Modestas for the belt, and I'm very glad that Chuck won, because that sets up a big fight, USA versus UK, New Year's Eve. However, there is a part of me that's just a bit like envious of just, I want to be on this show too.
You've got to be on this show.
Man, I struggle to find fights. I mean, literally, like the guy who even beat Shamus, Katie, you don't want it. There's like the whole game. Like, everyone's been offered the fight. I always say yes. I never say no.
Tell me, Will, who is an American middleweight that you would like to fight? Call someone else.
I wanted to fight Justin Barry, but he's fighting Dario Belandi instead, the guy I beat. So, I've been told that wasn't going to work, because choose that guy, not me. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's a struggle for me. I'm not trying to chat rubbish. It really is. For the level I'm at, it is like I've become broke waiting to try and get fights. It be like that sometimes. So, I want New Year's Eve to get an opponent, but I don't know.
Well, this is what I'm trying to think. I don't really know any other, like, it's got to be. Listen, it can be some, because there have been other fights that have been announced that have been two Europeans fighting each other. So even if it has to be another European for Will to fight, at the end of the day, American, European, it doesn't matter. We want a body to be taken home on
I would love an American. I would love an American, because I like the idea of Europe vs USA. I do like that. It's a great idea. But if it's either that or not fighting at all, because I see them putting up European vs European fights, I would like to just fight, wouldn't I? So I will take whatever I'm given. But I always say yes. I mean, literally, you can name any name. When it comes to this thing about talking, right, I don't want to be here talking, like saying this guy's name, this guy. I literally say yes to everybody. Everybody.
Yeah. Well,
doesn't matter.
I know
it can
that
be Jati Milan, it can be this guy. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I'll fight any of them.
Well, Chamu called you out, and you
and
said
that's
yes.
The crazy thing. You got me that, Katie. That was you. Thank you, Katie. You got to find me the next one, Katie. You need to find the next one for me.
This is what we're trying to do.
You deserve a percentage for that.
Ian Dean, I hope you're listening. No, we've got to get you on that card, and there's got to be someone out there.
How can you have him on it and not have me on it as well? Like, that's cruel.
But I just think, obviously, you are. I understand why people are turning you down. It's a very high risk fight, but also I think
knees out the socket. I rip limbs off.
Listen, we're trying to get you a fight. Maybe don't say that right now.
Yeah, I just pity
I
Pat,
wonder why he can't find anyone to fight him.
Even when you watch my stand up, as I'm training with him and his father, you're going to see my stand up evolve. But it was crazy how I was just training with him and his dad, and over like a 3-day period, I went from it was just crazy, the knowledge that him and his dad possess, the things that I'm going to add to my game. I can't wait because I know that I'm in the perfect. I've been in a very unstable situation, hopping from camp to camp to camp, not really knowing a home, not really having that genuine family vibe atmosphere that you need going into a fight. I've got my brother now, I've got my bro, and he's world-class fighter. Got very unlucky in the UFC. Won his first fight at their debut against Michaelides, got the bonus, was very, very good. Fought a killer in Crew, got caught, happens. You see in see in the World Cup, you can see football teams, Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, Cameroon are beating Brazil. This is sport. Crew is one of the best fighters in the world, and then after that, we go on to Olajaychek. I don't know if I butchered his name. He won that fight. He outpointed him, same way Wonderboy Thompson outpointed Darren Till in Liverpool, but hey, they gave it to Till. But anyway, back to my point. And then the next fight, that would be a dream fight for me. Imagine fighting Darren Till.
I think you've pulled him out before when we did our
and then the next fight he had, I know that he had a knee injury going into this whole UFC. He had a very, 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 very bad knee injury. And it's, seen as an excuse when an athlete talks about injury. But I'm going to just be real. We are dealing in a sport where we have to work with our tissues, our body tissues. And, I was training with him for that fight. I saw him before the round. First of all, Roundtree is a killer. He's knocked out Gokhan Saki. He's a savage, mate. If I was fighting Roundtree, I would be thinking, right, this is tough, and he's one of the best fighters in the world. And he was going into that fight very, very badly injured. I know that for a fact. Obviously, what happened. I believe that the surgery that he got, which the UFC forked a lot of money for, was almost like through that bad thing happening, a great thing happened, because he ended up getting a surgery which changed it. And I've seen him in training now. He's way better. He used to have to figure things out because things went. Now he's pristine. He's training great. Looks great in training. And that last fight he had with a very good opponent in the Butcher, 3 rounds, got the cobwebs out, hadn't fought in 14 months. Imagine your last fight, he had suffered a terrible injury. It's a lot of demons to go over. Came back. My man beat Lee Chadwick, savage. There you go. And then he beat Lee Chadwick, and he's set up now this fight. And I promise you, he's going to get a brutal, brutal finish, because we know what we know. We know what he knows what he's going to do. And I can't wait to see it.
We know what we're both capable of, and training with each other.
And together we multiply. That's the beautiful thing. Together, it's not like there's no jealousy or any. We spar and we go through it with each other, But at the same time, we're just bros. We're brothers. We're absolutely a unit, and that's what you need in this game. You can't do it alone. You need support. Any fighter who says I'm self-made is a fool. No fighter is self-made. You need support. I've had help from my parents. I've had help from certain fighters along the way. But right now, I'm in a very, very good situation with my man here, and I'm very blessed.
Oh my gosh, how can you talk like that and not have you both on the same card? It absolutely has to happen.
Coming for the WWE tag team titles as well.
The Smash Bros 2.0.
Coming
on SmackDown, getting them titles.
It has to happen, and like I said, obviously you're a very high risk fight, Will, but it's also massively high reward for anyone with the balls to step up
and take my scalp. But at the end of the day, if you're getting UFC paycheck, I'm not saying it's the craziest paycheck ever, but you're gonna probably have more people signing to fight me. But at this level where the paycheck isn't as big as it could be, it's hard to fight a guy like me, because I'm telling you, Katie, I've got footage of me sparring Yuri Prohaska in the Institute, and I've got some crazy stuff to show if you wanted to see that. I've got great experience all over the world. My man sparred John Jones. I've sparred Hamza Shemaev. We've got experience. It's just about time to now make it Will Currie and Modestas Bukowski as their own names, and that's what we're fighting for.
Yeah,
and as Katie Hunter is going to be the top UK journalist, all 3 of us, we're all rising up.
To the top.
This is the only interview I do.
Claim to the top.
MMA UK with Katie.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it so much. I really
from the beginning, Katie. From the beginning.
I know it was from day one, and I've been really fortunate to to follow your career for this long, and it is still only the beginning. What's Milan got to say? Only guy to take Will down a couple of times.
He was
to watch,
good.
mate.
He was
Keep it
a big
going.
step up. I fought 2 bums as amateurs, right? My first 2 fights that I fought amateur, with all due respect, they were bums. He was the step up, Milan
This was on
Checo.
Rise of Champions, wasn't it?
He
I
was
remember this fight.
He was my 3rd fight, and he was a savage. And it was a 3-round war, and it was one of the best fights I've had to this day. So Milan Checo, my guy, you're a killer.
I think he's from Tsunami.
You should have continued, Milan. You should have continued, mate. I'm telling you, you'd have done madness.
He said they were slippery mats. And he says you'll link up soon. Nice to hear from you, Milan. Yeah, Will, you sound like you're not convinced you're going to get a match up for New Year's
I'm going
Eve.
clubbing tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't expect nothing. Look, I'm like one of them Thai guys. Him and me are literally like opposites. He's like the more disciplined, professional athlete, like to the book. You know, he doesn't cut corners. I'm more like a Jack Sparrow, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? I'm drinking rum
on the way.
I'm drinking rum
weigh-ins.
in the weigh-in.
I saw that.
I swear, he helped me so much with that weight cut. He gave me like the best rehydration system.
He couldn't stop talking after that rehydration. Literally, as soon as you got those drinks in you, just literally just constant. Me and my dad could barely get a word in, but it was good because his energy was massively high.
The contrast in my mood from like the weigh-ins, like I'm in the underground vomiting all over the underground like some peasant, and then I go weigh in, start eating some Nando's, and you see how happy I get. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
My gosh.
But he helped me with the rehydration massively. He knows something because he's been to the UFC. He's done what I aspire to be. He's become a champion in Cage Warriors and then progressed to the UFC. And he knows certain things that I don't know about, certain intricate details of the game. And one of them was the rehydration. My Lord, he got that. That's a big part. And I didn't even realize that's just like little details add up. And I can only just say training with my man is just only going to get me to the next level.
Well, when I see pictures of you, obviously Modestas is a big guy. You look like similar in
Will's
these
a unit.
photos. I'm just wondering how tough the cut is to middleweight, because you are a big guy.
I was 92.5 kilos when I fought Shamu. So I know Pereira is 95, so I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm trying to build it up, right? But yeah, I'm a big middleweight, you know. I'm going to be a middleweight for a while, you know. He's got the bigger thighs, the bigger arms, you know. He's just the bones of him are a bit bigger. But yeah, we're similar sized. I've just got like an ability to make middleweight, and I want to do that for a long time. I want to try
an ability that I definitely do not have. I would literally have to probably chop off one of my limbs in order to make middleweight. So I'm glad that those days are behind me.
But I'm wondering, for the New Year's Eve card, would you take like a catch weight or something if there's somebody out there who would
I'll fight a light heavyweight.
Do that?
I'll fight a light heavyweight. For the right fight. I wouldn't want to fight Matty Byfield. Matty Byfield's my friend. I like Matty. Yep. I've known him for a long time. I'm not fighting him for no money as well. Like what's the why? He's my friend. He's like one of my bros. So, you know, Matty Byfield's my guy. But any other guy, any light heavyweight, no problem. I'll have that as well.
Anyone that springs to mind, or you're just open to anyone?
Give me the guy Matty fought. I don't know. Give me any of them. Clamp, the guy who fought.
I was just going to say that.
Give me in. I'll fight him. I'll beat him.
Would be a good fight.
Yeah. I'll come in at 93 kg, weigh in, fight. Not a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'll take the fight due to obviously him fighting quite recently, but you know, since I guess Chuck, fought on the same card, surely that'll be a matchup that they can try and, bring to light.
Well, he won't fight you, so maybe he'll fight me. But the thing is though, the difference is with a lot of these fighters, right, is I have no backup plan, right? A lot of these guys have a backup plan. They've got like, if I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this. And in case that don't work, I've got this. I have nothing else. This is the only thing I know. It's the only language I know. I only know combat. So, I'm in a situation where I've got no backup plan. There is no plan B. I've got all my chips in the basket of MMA. And if I fall, I go down with a ship. So I'm a different level of psychological, you know, killer. I'm here to fight. Genuinely am. Like, it's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm here to show it. So I'm here. Who wants it? I've already made it clear to the matchmaker. We shall see.
Now we just need a name to step forward. So
Yeah, there's got to be
whoever's
someone
brave
out
enough,
there.
come forward.
Like I say, it is high risk, obviously, but it's massively high reward. And you would think that there would be someone out there. What a way to fighters back themselves, right? Like, there's got to be someone out. I know you said that it's not the best money to take a risky fight for, but that is going to do so much for somebody's career. Anyone who can go in there and hold their own with you is proving themselves to be UFC level, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Even Shamu, through his defeat, he showed that he was a killer. He showed by him being able. I've got a good chin. He dropped me like a sack of potatoes. You know, he showed that he
I don't
had.
know how you managed to stay awake. To
Because
be
I've
honest,
got
that
like I'm like
proves
the
that you've
Evander
got a good chin.
Holyfield on the ground of being buzzed. Like I've just got an ability to just survive instincts. Even with Duncan, when he dropped me with the flying knee,
First fight,
and then he hit me with all them back of the head shots, I still spun him round, took him down, and I proved in the Shamu fight I can take a big shot and come back and win. He was tired at the point when I took him down, and if you watch the first round, he had pushed the pace completely. Second fight, I catch him with the heel hook very early. I give it everything. I give it absolutely everything. I'm hearing all these noises in his leg. My man Duncan is hard as nails. He didn't tap. I spent a lot of energy on that. Got on top of him. You know, won the first round quite clearly, like very well. And then the second round, I was winning. I had him down. And then my man's very Wrigley. He's a good fighter. He had 23, 24 amateur fights, I believe. He fought in the IMF. 17-6.
yeah.
All 6 of those losses were split decision losses. Decisions,
Wow.
3 minutes, no knees, no elbows. He's suited for the pro game, plus his cardio is insane. He doesn't get tired. You know, Duncan is really, really fit. So, you know, he's a top level fighter. As you said, no risk, no reward. I took the risk with him. He also took the risk with me. Fortunately for him, he
100%.
buzzed me with the spinning elbow. But you see again, I survived. He didn't kill me. And even in the third round, I'm telling you, I tore the ligaments in my neck on one of the takedowns and then
Oh
rolled my
my
ankle
God.
completely. Like, it was carnage. And all these experiences, they harden me and they build calluses in my mind. And
Yeah.
I know that what I did there, a lot of people would be like, oh, that was stupid fighting a guy like him of his caliber that early and doing. But I know in the long run that will pay off for me. And he didn't kill me. He never finished me. So I want to fight him in the UFC. I think
Yeah.
I want to see him go on and win. I'm a fan of Duncan. I think he's
He
brilliant.
deserves to be there.
He's brilliant. He's
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. I've learned so much through just watching him. He's brilliant. But I know I can win that fight. And I know that in time I will win that fight. But I just want him to go off, be super successful. I go off, be super successful, and then we meet UFC London, me, vs Duncan, the trilogy, and I win.
I love that. I'm all about that, and I definitely think you're right. It's one to do again a long time down the road when you're both in the upper echelons of your
I'm not
division in the
fighting him in Cage
UFC.
Warriors. I'm not fighting because I've already done it twice for
Yeah.
Peanut. He's a world class fighter. I've been around the
Mm.
world. He is really good. So if I'm going to fight a guy like him, I'm going to do it where the main event time. Because I've done it. So you can't say, "Oh, Will, you're scared. You don't want it with it." Yeah,
No.
right, cool, good one. I'm gonna fight him again, but I will fight him in the UFC. In the meantime, I want him to win every single fight. I'm supporting him every fight he has. I want him to do the best performances. Go out, do great. Make me look better, because the more he wins, the better he makes me look. You know,
Yeah.
because I had a great fight with him, and then I'm gonna go and do the same thing, and then we'll go again. And he's gonna get his revenge as well. And you know, I'm a revengeful person. You know,
It makes for a great story.
At the end of the day, we're here, and you know, this is our life. This is what we do, and that's the plan. That's the plot. In a dark room, plotting. This is what we plan.
You write the storylines for us, Will. So you're making
I
it
love
easier for the
WWE, man. WWE. Well, I
matchmakers.
prefer
And
WWF Attitude Era. You know, I'm all about the storylines.
He's a promoter as well as a fighter.
I definitely think you are. I can see you definitely doing that down the line as well.
We're gonna
Maybe
create a
like,
podcast as well. We're gonna
oh,
start a podcast. You know, so
sign me
I don't know
up.
what we're gonna call it. Something like Drago and the Phoenix. I don't know. That was good. Drago and the Phoenix. We might do that, you know, because I love talking. You know, I love articulating my thoughts, and yeah.
And you're so passionate about it.
I don't talk about anything else. When everyone talks about anything else, I like the World Cup. I enjoy the World Cup, but that's every 4 years. Other than that, nothing. If it's not MMA, I don't care. McGregor once said, you know, all I think about is sequences and numbers. Other than that, nothing is important, you know. And of course, my family is important. You know, but in terms of what I just think about fighting, and you know, that's the way you have to be.
And I think me and Will are definitely on the same wavelength.
Reciprocate, you know, each other. You
know? I definitely have learned a hell of a lot from him. And you know, just sitting there and just talking and, like, you know, exchanging thoughts and exchanging, you know, philosophies and stuff like that. It's made you. It's almost like it opens your eyes. You know, obviously Will's a hell of a lot younger than me, but you know, the lessons that I've learned have been been very invaluable, and I know that I'll continue to learn these lessons.
He's really good. He's got so much technical ability. I feel like spiritually is the next level for him, because when he reaches that spiritual level to match his technicality, he's unstoppable. Whereas with me, I've got good technique. I'm a very skilled fighter. I'd say he's a little bit ahead, but he has what I would say is skills and striking. He knows so many moves and he knows so many tricks. And what I bring to the table is just this energy. And I think together we just go off so well. We're opposites, but we're so similar. And that's why we work.
Is it just you two? Are you each other's only sparring partner or training partner at the moment? I know your dad is training you, Modestas, but like, do you go to any other gyms? Are there any other people brought in?
So obviously I train at Team BST as well. Will's going to come down there at some point. Also, one of my other main training partners is Lucas Klinger. You know, Danny Batten as well is an absolutely amazing coach. They do a really good thing down there. You know, they've got really good technical knowledge. Yeah, so obviously that's where I pick up a lot of techniques, obviously with my dad as well. And, you know, we get a couple of big guys together and come and spar in Watford, you know. One guy that I just sparred with just recently, Simeon Powell, you know, another absolutely amazing fighter, another killer. Do you know what I mean? So we've got those kind of guys that are, you know, very top level, very high level in the UK, you know, all big guys, and we're all pushing each other. So, you know, that's exactly what you want. That's what you want, to bring the best out of each other. There's no egos there. You know, you're trying to rip each other's heads off, but then afterwards we'll sit and have a Nando's together. So
it's a big man thing.
Well, no, it's actually like there aren't that many high-level big guys, so you do kind of have to do that in the same way the girls really have to go around the gyms and seek out like the right training partners. I feel like it's a little bit tougher than if you're a featherweight or a lightweight or whatever to get the
My friend Kieran, he trains at GB Top Team, and I swear he goes there, it's like death's door. There's like 12 guys his size who are killers, and it's like he's got to spar all of them 8 rounds, 5 minutes, you know, like whereas with us, it's just like big guys tend to be pussies, really. They don't really have a lot of guts. They don't really have that intensity about them. The thing is, with me, I was the smallest kid in the school for years.
Were you really?
I was the smallest kid in the school for years. I was the latest developer you've ever seen in your life. I got that from my mum. Basically, it ruined my football career. If you want to know the truth about it, I was playing a year up at Millwall. I was a savage. I was a really good footballer. And then all the kids just got massive, had armpit hair. And I'm just this little kid, like 2 years younger than everyone. You know, look, 2 years younger physically, but older than them. I'm a November. So in the UK school calendar, I'm one of the oldest. But I was literally the smallest on the team. I've got pictures to prove it. And then I had a super, super late growth spurt. And then, as I said, I was small. I was getting bullied in a boarding school. Didn't tell my parents about it. It was very hush for me. I was very prideful. Didn't want to talk about that kind of stuff. But I'm in a boarding school getting bullied. So, you know, the darkness, it amounts. And then eventually I started getting big. So I've got small man syndrome in a big man's body.
That sounds like a dangerous and terrifying combination. Have you got a message for the bullies now?
They know that they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified. They all know. They all know. They all know what I've gone on to do and what I am. And even if I don't even do anything else for the rest of this, I know I won. you know, just because of what I've done already. And I know it as well in them, you know, you see them looking at your story every so often or whatever. They are stalking me a little bit, but that's fine because, you know, they must be very shocked because they saw me as a wimp, as a very, you know, I was broken, you know, but that it's not like I was just so small and just, you know, I didn't know fighting, I didn't know how to do jiu-jitsu, and that affected my confidence, that affected my football, made me fall out of love with football. Football is also a bit of a bum-licky sport. You bum-lick the coach, he doesn't sub you, you play, you know, favoritism, teammates making, like, I love MMA because it's you on your one and you have to go and kill. Don't get me wrong, there's more team orientation in MMA than there is in football also, because we're more bros than a lot of footballers are going to be. You know, although I'm not fighting his fight, I'm going to be, if I'm not ringside, I'm there, I'm watching, you know, I'm going to be supporting, and it's a team aspect in that sense, getting ready, preparing for the fight. But what I love about what we do is you're on your one when you're in there, and it's your fault if you lose. It's your fault when you win. So that's what I love. I don't want to have some team sport. I just want to punch someone in the face. You know, they've let the goal and we've lost now. Bang. You know what I mean? So I can't do team sports. I can't do office jobs. I can't do any of that stuff. I have to be on my one, you know.
Do you know what? That's also something that I share with Will as well. That's where we're also very similar. I can't do an office job. You know what I mean? Used to get picked on at school when I was young. I was always used to be the skinny kid, and then, you know, things have turned out completely differently. You look at the guys that were the big dogs in secondary school, and you look at them now, and then you look at us. It's like a completely 360 transformation of who's the top dog now, and who's ended up doing well, and, you know, who's going out and pursuing big things and, you know, being put out into the spotlight. You know, a lot of these people who were bullies back then, you know, no one cares about them now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's us now that are making a difference and putting an impact into the world. So I think those lessons in itself have been very valuable, and they've given us an insight into different things. And like Will said, it gives you like a little bit of a darkness that helps you forward, especially in the world of fighting, where you do have to be vicious and intelligent, but also you've got to be very vicious. So
don't want to be so far on the dark side of the force like a Voldemort, Sauron, where you're arrogant, and you don't want to be so far on the light side of the force where you're a nonce. You want to be a grey Jedi. You want to be in the middle. Balance, yin and yang.
And these are part of the lessons that this guy's been telling me, and trust me, they are hitting home mentally, and I tell you what, it's going to bring out the best in me, skill wise and also aggressiveness wise. So, you know, there's many good things to come, and trust me, this partnership is going to make massive waves. So I think definitely we need to get this guy a fight, because you know, when both of us are getting these massive wins at the end of the year, you know, it's
that New Year's Eve party going to be mad.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's going to be mad regardless. But even better if we both win. He's got the belt. We're taking a story with fireworks in the background. It'd be like a GTA 5 heist mission complete, but in real life game. It's like a real life game movie, you know.
I hope if there are any kids watching, if anyone is watching who's having a hard time of it at school or like online or whatever, I hope they look at you two and take inspiration that, like, it won't be like that forever. And it's very hard to imagine either of you two in that situation. So I hope that would be very inspiring for anyone watching.
100%.
My bully, when I had a fight with him in school, I used to talk back to him a bit, right? And then we had a fight, and he beat me in 12 seconds. He like got on top of me, full mount, put his knees over my arms, and just started. And I just was like, I quit. Like, and it was humiliating. And then after that, I never said a word back to him because, you know, it was so like embarrassing that even when he would give me, you know, name calling or whatever, I was broken. I was like a dog with the tail between his legs. So I didn't even have a bite back at that point. You know, so yeah, you can go to a very low point, but
I hope he's bloody watching.
Oh, he is. He's terrified. I'm telling you, he's haunted by me. He's haunted.
That's for him.
Absolutely haunted.
Larry Liston said, Modestas, would you consider your greatest win against Martin Hamlet, strong Greco-Roman wrestler from Norway? That was such a good fight.
Yeah, I think in my overall career, you could. I don't know. You
were the underdog for that one as well, right?
I'll say that probably was the biggest win. It was a fight where I was considered the biggest underdog. you know, it was a fight where everyone had already written me off. They kind of gave, you know, I was given the opportunity because, you know, I was the only other like UK light heavyweight there. And, you know, obviously they wanted to send him off to the UFC and I kind of spoiled the party. But yeah, obviously he's a very strong Greco-Roman wrestler. He's improved a hell of a lot since then as well. But yeah, I think as well, just in general, in like my whole career, like that's where when the fight was over and I had the belt and everything and all the dreams came true and, you know, all the visions became reality. That was a massive moment for me. Definitely the biggest of my career, because you felt like the world just stopped for those hours post fight. Like you felt like time was going very slowly when usually everything's going super fast. Like all the hours, and you know, when we had our interview and stuff like that, everything was just like very slow, just like kind of you're actually like fully enjoying the moment. So yeah, absolutely amazing opponent, and I'll definitely say that was probably one of the biggest wins in my career.
Oh yeah, was a great fight, great night as well. That was I'm sure that was the Ross Houston and Nick Dalby fight was on that card as well, I think.
Another great fight.
Yeah. Oh, boys, thank you so much for doing this. It's been absolutely incredible to speak to you both. I'm now even more excited for your fight, Modestas, but I am desperate for you to get on this card, Will. We will tag everyone that we can think of in the interview and try and wind them up into accepting the fight.
Yes, Katie knows the ways.
Well, Katie, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, we've got to have you on there. You got like this bromance, just like honestly, it melts my heart.
Listen.
Let's not go too far here.
Let's chill. Let's chill a little bit. Yeah?
No, it melts my heart. It's so great to see. Like, just yeah, I'm glad that you're happy and settled in a camp, Will, and feeling like things.
Finally, I won't be hopping anymore. Like everyone, you might have like this stigma that I'm like this. I don't know, because I'm there and I'm there and I'm there. Like I look like I'm some disloyal this or whatever, you know. The reality is this MMA game, you have a lot of coach brainwashing rubbish, and I know this, and they'll try and play it like they don't, but I know this, and I'm with someone that's not going to try and F me over. He's not going to try and, he's genuinely my bro, and that's why we work. And he's also ridiculous. He's the best light heavyweight in the country, so win-win.
Yeah.
Together, well, I mean, like I say, the only way is up. The only way is to the top and the very peak of the sport. And yeah, as we continue to grow, as we continue to get better, as we continue to challenge ourselves, we'll be making big waves in MMA. Mark my words.
Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, what an amazing note to end on. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we go?
Just want to say thank you to you, Katie. You know, thank you for always believing in us. Thank you for always supporting us. Thank you for always, you know, having an amazing conversation with us. And yeah, like we are very looking forward to put on more spectacular shows for you, so we can have even more great interviews.
I can't wait either. It is my pleasure always. Thank you so much for your time, and stay healthy. And I can't wait to see you both in December.
Much love, Katie.
End of December.
Yeah.
Take care.
Much love. Have a lovely night.